Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Awesome. Well, I am delighted to share with everyone tonight. My name is Kayla Collins. I'm from New Hampshire, and I've been on the product since I was 3 years old, and I turned 25 this year. So it's been over 22 years now that I've been on Reliv, and I would never go a day without it. I really just started for prevention, and the products have followed me throughout my entire life. I did a different sport every season in high school, so it was great for muscle recovery. I took the product with me to college, and it was awesome. That's really when the light bulb went on for me, that I realized that there was something special about these shakes that I was taking twice a day. Because I found that if I got a cold, it would the Reliv would pretty much boost it right out of me within 48 hours to 72 hours. And I saw a lot of my peers, they'd get sick and they go to the doctor, they get an antibiotic, and they'd still feel lousy for 2 weeks. So I love Reliv simply for that prevention aspect of it all, and I'll never go a day without it. I am definitely most excited about the business. It took me a while to take a look at it, but I graduated from college 3 years ago. I was one of the lucky ones. I got a job in the corporate world, and I loved that job for about 3 weeks. And then I decided after about 2.5 months that I was officially burnt out and that I did not want to do that job for another 40 or 50 years. And to give you an idea of where I was waking up super early in the morning. I was sitting in traffic for up to 2 hours, working 9 to 5. I had my half-hour lunch break, and then I'd sit in traffic again in the evening for up to 2 hours. And that was my life, Monday through Friday. And my parents do this business. They make between $8,000 and $12,000 every single month, and they had amazing time freedom, and I did not have that. So I went to my very first conference, and it really opened my eyes to what I could do with the business. And gosh, God has a way of putting things really in front of you, because I came back from my first Reliv conference, and I ended up being laid off from my job maybe like 3 weeks later after the conference.
Wow.
And believe it or not, I was excited, because after going to the conference, I went back to my cubicle, and I remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm more miserable now because I know what else I could be doing. And so I started doing Reliv super part-time, and I made about $700 in my third month. And that's when I said, you know what, I can do this. I'm just going to go for it. So I stopped applying to corporate jobs. I made it my full-time focus. And my first year, I averaged an extra $1,000 every single month. And looking back on the past 2 years, I've made as much as $4,000 in a given month. And I've earned cash bonuses. I did earn a trip to the Turks and Caicos last year, which is super fun. Oh my gosh, I got to bring my best friend from college, and it was all expenses paid. I made a blast. So I love Reliv. It's something, I'll always be doing. I can do it part-time, full-time, in the cracks of my life. It's super fun.
Kayla, that's awesome. I just love your story so much. Because, here you spend all that time in college, and then you get out and you got this job, but it was not. It was more like a little hamster on a little treadmill kind of a thing. And here you got that trip to Turks and Caicos. You didn't have to go to your boss and ask if you had permission to leave during that time or anything else, because you've got that time freedom. And I think that's something I enjoy most about Reliv, is that time freedom. And I know you're just going to be going great guns with Reliv and changing lots of people's lives. And thanks so much for getting on and sharing tonight.
Absolutely. I'm happy to.
If any of you have looked at the business plan of Reliv, you know that there's 5 different ways you get paid with Reliv. And, I always think there's a 6th way you get paid, and that is with friends you make all around the world. And I want to introduce you now to Darla Posner. She's one of those friends. She lives in Nebraska. I probably never would have met her otherwise, but we're good friends with Reliv. And Darla, would you come on and share what's happened in your family with the Reliv?
Absolutely. Well, can you hear me, Mary?
Sure can.
All righty. It's a great honor to be asked to share with you folks this evening. And, yes, my name is Darla Posner from Lincoln, Nebraska. And we took a look at Reliv. Next month will be 11 years. And it was a real answer to prayer then, but it's even more of an answer to prayer now. And, we were small business owners, and our business owned us. We worked 80-plus hours a week. We were tired. We were frustrated. We were worn out, and we had no time freedom. We absolutely were tied to our business. And, we took a look at the products, and on the products, I had my husband come with me, and he saw the business side, but he knew that we didn't have any time, so we knew that we needed to leverage our time for leverage our time for the amount of money to pay for our products, because that was our first goal. And, we started on the products together. We wanted to have the best price because we wanted to take it properly, and if it didn't work, we would send it back because of the wonderful 90% one-year buyback. And so when we took it, within 3 weeks, I noticed that I had added 3 hours to my day. It made me a better morning person. I never did like mornings because I was always more tired in the morning than I was when I went to bed at night. And my energy started going up. It wasn't anything wired, just a great, good feeling. And, if that was the only thing I got from this, I would have been happy. But within about 6 to 8 weeks, I had chronic malabsorption, where I couldn't absorb nutrition from my food and supplements. I had to eat about every 2 hours to keep up my energy. But I also had chronic constipation from the day I was born. And, my back and my legs always hurt, even as a kid. And just was never able to eliminate more than once in a week, and then I'd have to assist on that. And, that leg and back pain started going away when the compaction started going away. And I had already lived with ripping nerve pain for over 4 years before I knew anything about Reliv. And it was from the internal shingles. That's where the chickenpox virus lays dormant in your body. And when you either get really stressed out, which we were in our business, or you're really low immune system, it attacks the nerve. And it attacked the nerves from the base of my neck underneath my shoulder blade down into my right hand. And I literally looked like I had a stroke. My arm hung at my side. If I wanted to move my arm, I had to lift it up and pick it up and do whatever, put it in a sleeve or whatever. But I was an optician by trade. We owned 2 businesses, and I could not adjust a pair of glasses. I couldn't even write up an order. And I was in such pain that I started not being able to think clearly. And shortly after that, I was not able to eat. So that was when my husband was really concerned. So we started looking, and that's when I was diagnosed. And the doctor said, there's really nothing we can give you because yours went internally, and that nerve is damaged on the inside. So I can't guarantee you that you'll ever get well. So I went on and spent thousands of dollars trying to get well. And, with that, we tried a lot. And we just thought there was no hope. But within 90 days on Reliv, after that 4-year pain, I was able to be totally pain-free. I have full range of motion on my arms, and everything works normally, my hands and such. But, being small business owners, we just knew that we needed to take the time to learn about this. And we thought, what if this could be our plan B? And so we worked it in the cracks of our life because we heard people's hearts. We heard whether they were looking for income or whether they were looking for help with their health. And so I just started sharing gradually, making a very small check at first, but, it gradually grew. And 8 years ago now, we sold both of our traditional businesses to come home to share Reliv full-time. And then my mother needed a full-time caregiver due to a real bad injury. And Reliv gave me that time freedom and the income to be able to be her caregiver. And Reliv is now our plan A. And it gives us the time freedom to do the things that matter in our life and also for our retirement. But I'm just going to fast forward to last fall. In September 2014, Mom was a month away from being 91, and she was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer. She never was a smoker, but, the doctors said that she was in the last stages and that she needed to be on oxygen 24/7 and to be placed in hospice care immediately. And because of that, she wouldn't be around to see possibly Thanksgiving, but definitely not Christmas. And they immediately prescribed a lot of medications. Now, my mom was only on 1 drop for glaucoma and a half a blood pressure pill in a day. And with the drugs, she started having severe bruising, swollen legs, memory issues, and severe dehydration. And the day after Thanksgiving, she was so dehydrated that she was in a fetal position in bed with all of her muscles tightened down to her bones. Her arms, her hands, her feet, and her fingers were all twisted, and she was just in extreme pain. She wasn't able to concentrate. She was in severe pain over her entire body. And since she was in hospice care, they no longer, or she was no longer eligible to be taken to a hospital for treatment. So when my family asked what we should do, we asked Mom what she wanted, and she chose to let us help her sit up and put Relive into her body. And it was just remarkable, the difference. When we started putting one of our products in to help her to hydrate, it took us about 4 hours, and she was able to drink her product with help from us. Within 4 hours, her arms, her legs started working. She started giggling and smiling again, and she was actually asking to have us get her walker so she could walk to the bathroom. And I said, Mom, I'm not sure that you're strong enough for that. And she said, no, I am. And ever since then, she's been up walking, and she walks probably a couple miles a day. And,
wow.
It's just totally blown us away. But Mom's actually added the Linrich capsules and consumes her Relive consistently. She now lives in an assisted living because where she lived before, the sidewalks weren't real good for her, and we didn't want her to be there by herself in the wintertime. And now she takes care of her own kitty. The only thing that they do for her at the facility is make her meals and do her laundry. Otherwise, she does all of her cares. And it's been almost 7 months now since she was diagnosed with that cancer. And, the doctors just thought for sure she was going to be gone by Christmas. But here we've already had Easter. We're rolling up on Mother's Day, and she's doing the things she wants to do. She no longer is on oxygen, and she's the only time she takes oxygen is when she sleeps at night if she needs it. Her meds have been greatly reduced. She no longer has the severe bruising that's common in older folks with meds. And her ankles are no longer swollen, and she's avoided taking chemotherapy and radiation, and has a quality of life rather than being in agony. And Mom's wish was that she could spend more time with her family, and that's what we've been doing, is making memories with Mom every day. And we are just so thankful that Dr. Ted and Dr. Carl and Dr. Fred made these products, but also we're thankful that Bob and Sandy had the foresight to, pass it on. And because of that, my husband and I are both retired. We now have been able to enjoy life and go to things that we have missed all these years, but have also enjoyed being married for 44 years. But, because of that, we knew that income was going to be necessary. And doing this around my mom and helping her, I make anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And, the really neat part is we've got our mom back, and you can't put a price on that. So we'll always do Relive.
Oh, that's an awesome story, Darla. And, if you had your two businesses still working them, there was no way that you could spend time with your mom, let alone help her to get better with these products. That is just
nope.
That is just priceless, like they say in the TV commercials. Just priceless.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. I sure appreciate your story and your sharing what happened with your mom as well.
Yeah. Well, it was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go down to Clyde Love up in Michigan. Clyde, I heard about Clyde's story from someone else, and Clyde, sounds like you've had quite a change after adding Relive products into your life. Clyde, if you're there, you may have to *6 to unmute your line.
Yes, I have got some great results with Relive, and I'm a happy man. I'm here in Detroit, Michigan, and I retired from Ford Motor Company. The doctor discovered that I was a diabetic, and at that time my blood sugar was like 650. And they right away put me on 60 units of insulin and said I'd be doing that for the rest of my life. So life being good to the last drop, I was religiously doing like my doctor told me. And I thought that's the way I had to go the rest of my life. But I had a real good friend that thought enough of us to tell us about this company with a product patented by the government, a money-back guarantee. I saw where I could kill two birds with one stone. I could do my friend a favor by buying the product knowing that this powder stuff wouldn't do me no good. My doctor had saved my life, so I thought. But anyway, she made me a shake, and I tasted the stuff, and it tasted pretty good. So, it was a wonderful taste that I liked. And so I decided to try her product 30, 60, 90 days, and I just was giving it the best shot. Wasn't expecting any benefits. But 3 days on that product, my energy level hit the ceiling. I had absolutely no energy. I actually went from 130 pounds up to 260 pounds. I had huge appetite with no energy, and I was in serious trouble. So I was excited about the energy inside to go a little bit further. 3.5 months on that powder stuff, the doctor lowered my insulin from 60 units to 30. And at that point, I knew that Relive was the vehicle that the Lord was going to answer my prayers. And I had started taking the product July of 99. About the middle of 2000, I found myself off heart medicine, cholesterol, high blood pressure, totally insulin-free. And I had been trying to tell my doctor about it, but, he didn't want me taking it. He said it was going to blow my blood sugar out the water, and, I'd just be wasting my money. But when he saw the results that I got, he jumped on the product, and he'd been taking it over 9.5 years and loving it. And, I didn't go in it for a business or something like that. I had just retired, hadn't got used to the retirement. But I had a lot of friends and relatives and neighbors that knew my condition, and they wanted to know what on earth was I doing different. And I told them it must be this powder stuff, because that's the only thing that I had, did different, and they wanted to try it. And I had to do it good, and they too got great results with the stuff, and their friends, wanted to find out what was going on with it, so they kept coming back to me, and I had gotten to the highest level so that I could afford to share with my family, and so I showed them how to come into business at the highest level, so they could make it reasonable that they could have this product for the entire family like I had done. Well, anyway, within a calendar month, I found that I had a group value of over $23,000.
Wow.
And I hadn't did any work, so I was just kind of blown away with the fact that the company was giving me a bonus for doing that for $1,250, and with the retail and wholesale of that month, I averaged up to $2,100 profit for myself. And I tell you, this is actually as hard as you work in Relive, just sharing from your heart what blessing that you have gotten from taking these products. And I tell you, I turned 74 this year, and I've been saying 39 and a quarter, but I tell you, I don't feel a day older than that one.
Well, you don't sound older than 39 and a quarter either, Clyde.
What's so excited about this is I had a son that tore up his rotary because he was in college playing with Joe Flaker and messed up his shoulder, and his father just flooded him with the products, and I'm telling you, he went over in Germany and played exactly about 2 pro years there. And now my granddaughter, the last pea in the pot, she's taking the volleyball to the Olympics. So I will never give up off of this product. I'm saving it for the unborn loves.
I guess so. Your whole family's gotten some great results. And, wow, sugar is 650. That's really up there. I am so glad that a friend shared this with you and that you listened, Clyde, and that you listened. Thank you so much for sharing today.
I know.
Well, our final guest this evening is a good friend of mine. I met her at one of our first conferences. She was making a presentation there, and she talked about how we have our little Relive story and we have our little candle burning, and someone will come along and throw a Dixie cup of water on that. Have you ever had that happen to you? Somebody says, that'll never work. That, maybe other people can do it, but you can't do it. Nobody ever makes any money in that. And what happens to that little candle? It kind of fizzles out. But when you listen to enough stories and you hear the evidence, then you've got a bonfire going on. And people can throw Dixie cups of water on there as much as they want, and it's not going to put out that bonfire. Valerie Opie is a bronze ambassador. I'm so glad that she's also my friend and also has a great story. And I'll tell you, Valerie, I've shared that story with many, many, many people over the last 12 years.
Oh, can you hear me, Mary?
Sure can.
Well, great. Well, I'll just quickly share what's happened for us. I am Valerie Opie. I live in Mesa, Arizona. I am a mom of 8 children, and over the years have managed a clinic. And so my life is a little crazy. And when we first heard about Relive, my brother had called and said he was excited about a business he was doing, was setting aside for retirement. And that was a need we have. But I really didn't believe that there was something like a home-based business that would really make that big a difference in that part of it. So I had no faith, confidence, and belief in it, but my husband told him to come on over and share the information. And we came in as distributors and bought a large order and started on product the same night. And what my brother didn't know is that in 1992 I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and my mother had died from a cancer that was caused from the medications that she took for rheumatoid. So I wasn't anti-meds, but I was anti those medications. And so I had turned to nutrition, saw enough of a change to know that nutrition was part of my answer. And we had my husband had access to the best nutrition supplements out there, so we thought. What he also didn't know, our brother also didn't know, is that my 7-year-old son had just been diagnosed with systemic juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. His knees and elbows were twice their normal size. His shoulders and ankles were locked in position, and we were praying for answers. And so not only were we financially needing help, but we also were needing help with our health. And something else secret in the deep parts of my heart that I didn't even hope to believe is I wanted time freedom, because my husband was going to work before the kids were waking up. He was coming home from work when the kids were going to bed. My kids thought their dad was tired and cranky, and he thought they were. And I knew different, and I wanted them to know different. So Relive actually came into our lives at a time where we had a lot of needs and a lot of prayers being set up. And we truly believe now that my brother and this company was an answer to those prayers, because in the first 30 days, my son saw a marked difference taking these products. At the end of 3 months, he was 90% pain-free and all of his swelling was gone. At the end of 6 months, I was 70% pain-free, spending less money on nutrition than I'd had in the past, and just by taking these products. And my son was 100% pain-free. By the 7th month, we were able to wean him off all medications, and he and I have been pain-free, symptom-free, and medication-free now for over 16 years. He's 24 years old. He's married, has a little baby. I love that they've now found out that taking these products can help turn around genetic weaknesses, because if all this does is stop rheumatoid arthritis from passing on to my sweet little granddaughter, it would be the best, the best story I ever have. But each one of my kids have gotten results, whether it's prevention or weight loss. I lost 87 pounds, and because my daughter saw that, she ended up losing 75 pounds. Another daughter just started being very faithful in taking it, and in 2 weeks she's lost 17 pounds, and she's got more energy, and her knee pain and back pain are less. So we've seen phenomenal results over the years and love the product. But my husband was right. If you have a good product, you have a good business, and we built a business that first year, in the cracks of my life with 8 little kids, they were 16 and under, we built a business that brought in $24,000. By the next year, we were international in 2 countries, and my income had gone to over $38,000. By the third year, that Fifth Avenue of Income kicked in, where we were invited to become ambassadors. And, you know, guys, we've earned a check every month since our first month in Relev. And that's pretty powerful when you realize that 7 years after building our business, our check was right around $7,000, $8,000 a month, and my house burned down. And in the 2 years that I had to take a step back from Relev to focus on what was needful at that time for our family, not only did I keep getting a check, but I got a raise. My first $8,000, $9,000, and $10,000 checks came in those months that I had to take time off. So I don't know where else you could work for 7 years, take 2 years off, and not only get paid but get a raise. But that's what's happened for us. Our highest month has been $11,000 profit, and I don't say that to brag because I didn't develop the products and I didn't develop the business plan, but I am so grateful to those that did, and I love that every dollar I earn is wrapped around a story of hope, and I will be doing this forever.
That's awesome, Valerie. And, you know, I love what you said about the arthritis. You know, I never thought of that as being genetic. You know, you think of diabetes and cancer and some of these other things. But, wow, that's true because you talked about your mom and then you and your son. You know, what a great thing that we have that Luna-Rich X now and that can block that, like you say, from your granddaughter. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for getting on and sharing tonight. I want to thank all of those who shared today. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'll come back and give you the playback number.